Talk about some really heavy things that I have been experiencing over the last couple of days in case it helps you on your journey as well. Okay, so I woke up this morning and I was just experiencing a lot of depressive feelings and anxiety. And it always really helps me to talk things out because that energy just builds within you. And if you're not doing anything with it, then it turns into limiting beliefs and catastrophizing and worst case scenarios and all of this stuff. So I voiced noted my friend, but I wanted to share on here as well, okay? Because it really helps to hear other people's experiences and that we're all kind of going through this. And so I was watching some videos the other day about how it is important to step outside of your comfort zone. And in the past, I haven't always been one to do that because I had a lot of fears and anxieties and imposter syndrome and all these things. But then I became a person that was really good at stepping outside of our comfort zone because I was so fed up with my life and the way that it was headed, the direction, that I was like, we got to mix things up, okay? Whether I do it consciously or unconsciously. And so I did some things like job shifts, rearranging my relationships in my life, just like all these different things, like tower moments that people are like, oh my God, I can't believe she did this. Like, why would you do this? Or, you know, I was asking myself this, like, why are we creating such radical changes like all of the sudden? And it's because I felt so stuck that I needed to really, you know, throw myself into trial by fire so that I could come out victorious on the other side or confident, right? And then like I can get through anything, okay? But that was also coming from a place of lack and needing to think that I needed to prove myself through adversity. And so my life now is very different comparatively. I'm pretty much at peace all the time. I own my own business. I have a great relationship with my son. I have a great place that I live. Doing traveling, like all of these things that I once wanted in my life, I have now. My beautiful soul tribe members. And being at peace at first was very scary because I didn't know what that felt like for most of my life because of a lot of trauma and PTSD and gaslighting narcissistic relationships. And so I was addicted to drama and chaos, even though we don't want that. That's where I felt safe. I would also use it as fuel, like a driving force to achieve my goals. Like starting my own business. I realized in a group coaching session that I was in the other day that had been my main focus for years. And I had actually put these blinders on where I really wasn't investing in myself and my personal self enough because I was so bent on making it happen no matter what, which that's great. We love that. Okay. Determination. But I was doing it almost in a toxic way of not just in a balanced, harmonious manner. Okay, just blinders on. I'm only going to focus on this. And when I was in that coaching group, I got really emotional, and all of a sudden my body felt like it was on fire. And I could feel all this PTSD and this trauma trying to come up while we were talking. And it's because I put so much time and energy and effort into getting myself to where I am today that I neglected myself for so long that all of these past versions of me, like in my 20s and early 30s, or my late 20s, early 30s, they really like went through it to get us to where we are today. And I am so grateful and thankful for them for doing that for me. Okay, like what a blessing. But I was like, oh, we really need to shift the dynamics in our life, okay, so that doesn't happen again. Because I was watching these videos, back to what I was saying, I was watching these videos on stepping outside of your comfort zone and how important that is, and I was like, you know what, I haven't done anything in a really long time to shake things up, like really radically rock the ship. And I was like, maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to make a very big life pivoting decision so that I can have that almost like butterfly cocoon transformation. I was like, no, I don't think that is healthy. In the past, we needed to do that for our survival, but now that would be a self-sabotaging behavior. Like, just because we are experiencing so much peace in our lives. Like, we don't need to behave in the same way that we have previously because we're not living in the same stories and narratives and PTSD and trauma that we have in the past. In one of the programs that I'm running, we have recently been talking about how to identify the stories and narratives that we are living under that are keeping us stuck in life. And I said, oh, I'm starting to see where my imposter syndrome and feelings of not enoughness have been keeping me stuck. Like it's not actually me needing to make any rash decisions or rock the boat. It's an internal shift that I have been needing to make in order to level up and evolve. I cannot take those same personality traits or feelings about myself to this next level in my life. A level more of more peace, more abundance, more prosperity. I have to shed that old version of myself. And I know that's good for me, just like everybody does, but it's really intense and it's really scary. And I feel like my body inside is at war with itself. And I have been having so many limiting beliefs and imposter syndrome and feelings of not enoughness come up, and my mind trying to scare me of saying like, oh, well, if we shed all of these old beliefs and thoughts and narratives, you're going to be a giant failure. Everything's going to fall out from underneath you. All of these like irrational things, right? And I'm one that's really good at putting those things at bay. Okay, I have a lot of tools and resources to change my mindset, but these old stories will just have a grip on you, and it's almost like an animal that's being attacked. It will do everything in its power to save itself. And so that's kind of what my ego is going through right now in these past versions. And it's not even my past versions, like the younger versions of me, it's the trauma and PTSD that was wrapped around them. And so I'm over here sitting and saying like, hey, I know it's scary, I know it's intense, but you got to trust me. It's always better on the other side. I've got you, but it's still a lot. It's grieving a part of yourself. It feels like that you are passing away. Like there's a part of your soul that is collapsing, but that's a falsehood. It's not part of your soul. It's a part of conditioning and programming and generational trauma and PTSD and limiting beliefs that you picked up from other people, and just a whole assortment of things that have nothing to do with you as a soul. And so sometimes when we are going through these quantum jumps, our inner children and our teens and our past versions get really nervous because they think that they're going to be left behind, because that's part of their core identity, all of these things. And so we have to come in and remind them, hey, everybody's coming with to the new life. It's going to be so great on the other side. I just need to clean up all this stuff off of y'all so that you can see that more clearly. Okay. But we still need to hold grace and space and compassion for everyone, all of our internal family system that is involved in this process, because they utilize these things as safety trauma responses to keep ourselves safe in moving forward in life. And so it's really scary to let go of your safety net or to let go of your safety blanket, okay? And trust yourself that you're going to be able to get on the other side of all of these heavy feelings, of all of this purging of, years worth of unprocessed emotions and limiting beliefs that have been weighing you down, and these stories and narratives that we have been trapped in. Like consciously, yeah, that's great, we want to do that, but your ego is telling you different. It's like, no, we need to stay here in our comfortability zone. And so I wanted to share this because it really helps me to see that other people are going through this, especially like leaders and communities, because it's like, oh, it's all of us. Okay. And leaders being very transparent and vulnerable shows everybody like, hey, it's okay to share what you're going through. There's so much strength in that, and it is extremely cathartic. I feel so much better just making this video. Okay, because it's like all that stuck and stagnant energy is able to come up and come out, and then if I'm able to help you through the next stage of your journey, that brings me a lot of joy. So I'm sending you a big hug while you're going through this process as well. Just know I'm very proud of you. This is not easy stuff. You are loved. You are appreciated for what you're doing in the collective.